Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the four-card fights for UFC Fight Night, Luque versus Muhammad 2. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the bantamweight division, Alateng versus Kevin Croom. And I see this one right here. So I'm not gonna get all into the depths of this one right here. And I said that twice for a reason. Well, not for necessarily a reason, just because I wanted to. That's what I'm saying. I did it on purpose. But Alateng versus Kevin Croom, how I feel about this one is Alateng, it's gonna come down to like as simple as I could put it, or it's really not all that deep why I'm going with Kevin Croom here. Not to say this is a high confidence pick, this is an average or a low confidence pick at best. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say average. Because I just feel like it's like this levels to fighters. Alateng is not a guy you're gonna see going do much of anything in this division or any division in the UFC right now or ever, probably most likely. If I had to make a bet, like if I had to make a bet, I would bet Alateng would probably at most scrape a top 15 spot by some happenstance that this the perfect stylistic match bar. People just got a bunch of people got injured or were having contract issues and he just slipped in top 15. Even with a lot of the best people out, he still would not be a top 10 fighter. I just don't really see those skills in him. Got some decent wrestling, but nothing spectacular at all. Definitely not at all. Striking, got a little bit of power, got a little bit of technique, but nothing that's really stands out about him. Kevin Croom, definitely a sloppy striker, sloppy grappler and all that stuff. But he has had his moment. He looked okay against Brian Kelleher. Striking did not look crisp and all that, but he was still giving outstriking Kelleher, who I feel is a much better fighter in just about every area than Alateng. Definitely experience-wise to back it as well. And better grappler, better wrestler, I feel, than Alateng. Probably better grappler. Alateng might got a slight wrestling advantage, but you combine all the context of MMA, and it's not even, it's like night and day, because Kelleher got the grappling, you mix in the punching, you mix in the experience and how you handle situations to get your punches off. It's like, maybe in a freestyle matchup, maybe Alateng would beat him, maybe. But even then, Alateng ain't nobody a world-class freestyle wrestler. He's not that either. So what is he good at? Not a whole lot. So you got a fight that's not really phenomenal in no area, got a little bit of power, got a little bit of technique, but he's giving up nearly a foot of reach, and he's giving up like 5 inches of height. And Croom has success, even though got taken away at 55 over Roosevelt Roberts, who's a pretty decent guy. If you put Roosevelt Roberts in with Alateng at like a 45 catch weight, I'll pick Roosevelt Roberts, but that's MMA math. But I'm saying, I see two guys that aren't exactly phenomenal, but one guy has the height, the reach. But yeah, my biggest concern here is Croom's wrestling defense, which is pretty questionable, striking pretty sloppy, but I feel like Alateng ain't that good, and Croom can overwhelm him with sloppy volume and aggression and use that reach, use that height, use that size, cause him issue, and really just outwork him. And I felt Alateng, when pressed, will slow down as the fight goes on. And like I see a close, ugly decision that's going to go Kevin Croom's way. I don't see it being pretty, definitely given that it's Kevin Croom. And it's like a low caliber fight. I see Kevin Croom eking out a decision, and with his height, his reach, his volume, and his pace. And I see Alateng wilting just off the pace and pressure of Croom and the activity of Croom. And Croom just simply beating him by outworking him. So in this fight, I got Kevin Croom via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's strawweight division, Sam Hughes versus Estela Nunes. Now I see from right here is my big concern with Nunes is the wrestling, grappling defense. Sam Hughes isn't exactly no great grappler. She does have wrestling. I feel that could cause some issues. But Sam Hughes is one of those people that's just not a winner. Might not sound illogical, but when you really follow the game, when you just follow things, some people just aren't winners. Like it could be people that be phenomenal, because NBA is a bunch of those people that people slice up and all this stuff. But it's not the same in MMA. You could be an NBA, never win a championship, be a career choke artist, but people will still act like you're one of the greatest scorers of all time, greatest this all time. But you choke in the moments. Like, it's an individual sport, and you can't just say, "Oh, I wasn't on a good team, wasn't this on that." But I don't know, I'm getting too far. I'm about to start name dropping some basketball players, NFL players, and stuff, because they play those team sports and be like Hall of Famers, but they don't be winners. But yeah, winners, like some people just do the right things, or some people just choke and find ways to lose. And Hughes is one of those people, I feel. I'm not saying she's good. I'm just saying she's not a winner. She definitely ain't great. Definitely ain't good, but she for sure not a winner. And I feel like in the case where she's going to have some takedowns, she's going to try to sandwich, blanket Estela Nunes. Try to hold her against his cage, try to work some takedowns, try to crowd her space. But Estela Nunes will be cracking her with clean counters, being able to to reestablish that distance and land clean strikes on Sam Hughes as she tries to, like I said, be a blanket. But Sam Hughes doing a poor job of being a blanket, is getting outstruck, not getting no real control time, getting outstruck against the cage, center of the cage, at distance. But yeah, back to the video, back to the prediction. Yeah, Stella Nunes to out striker, probably attempts some submissions off her back. But again, mostly Sam Hughes trying to mount an offense, trying to control her with her wrestling, but not the best job of it. And Estella Nunes still getting off on the strikes and beating her to a decision. So in this one, I have Estella Nunes via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Trey Ogden versus Jordan Leavitt. And I see this one right here. Now some people might say, I don't know, what angle people trying to go with Ogden here? I mean, the clearest angle is that Leavitt isn't the most well-rounded fighter. Very one-dimensional, very limited. But Ogden is not a great fighter. I will say that. Probably enough to beat Leavitt, but not enough for me to pick him in this one. Striking ain't really much to write home about. Low-level striking. Leavitt might be able to strike with him. Not say I'll strike him. I'll say he's the better striker. I think everybody about that end of the cage probably gonna be better than Leavitt at this level. The lightweight division, very high level. And Ogden definitely in UFC caliber. Leavitt grappling at least could be somewhat UFC caliber, but he needs to work on that striking. Because he's gonna get embarrassed real bad if he takes any little bit wrong step in the lightweight division, you fighting a true legit killer. Like you could have these little play guys at a little very bottom, little floor level of the lightweight division, but you take one little step, next thing you know, you fighting a guy who's been fighting for 20 years, got 3-degree red belt, black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, no, I'm not joking. Like, it ain't that many grapplers. If it was that many killers in the division, Khabib would not be undefeated. But yeah, but it's definitely a lot of depth to lightweight division at some level. So, and he getting them in a very bad spot. But yeah, Ogden ain't really much of a great fighter in any area. His biggest strength is his grappling, and his biggest weakness is his grappling. Fight between two grapplers, the fight probably likely going to end up grappling. Two guys that can't really strike. Two guys that ain't really all skilled. The fight likely going to end up to the ground. I'm not saying Leavitt ain't skilled, but I feel like he definitely needs to put some time into that striking and time to his overall game. But I definitely feel like Leavitt's the better grappler. I feel like Ogden's a low-tier fighter. Fight going to end up in the grappling. Whether Leavitt takes it there or the fight just end up in a scramble. And in that moment, when they start scrambling, Leavitt's grappling acumen and Ogden's mental lapses and weaknesses and big holes in his grappling are going to open up, and Leavitt's going to take advantage of. Like when they start to grapple, you're going to clearly see night and day who is the better grappler. In that moment, Leavitt's going to snap in, to start to take control of the fight, start to dominate him on the ground, and then tap him out. And I say that like second round. First round, probably be a sloppy fight, probably Ogden outlanding him, Leavitt trying to struggle to find a takedown, but he probably going to start to establish it, but not really be able to do too much with it, but enough to probably steal the first round with top control time and probably some slaps on top. In the second round, Ogden probably gonna be a goofball anyway. Like it probably really should be Leavitt getting a takedown, but Ogden probably gonna be a goofball trying to work against the cage, probably trying to, if he going for a takedown, he gonna try to go for the takedown in advance of Leavitt, or try at least initiate the grappling in advance of Leavitt, then be a goofball, slip up, or try to do something dumb and end up on the ground. And then Leavitt's gonna just take full advantage of, start cutting through him like butter, busting him up, then tap him out in that second round. Or he gonna try to I don't know, I probably might even give up his neck. I just see Ogden out just looking like unpolished and just making big mistakes, and Leavitt just capitalizing on every single mistake he make. And not even the fact that Leavitt gonna look so clean. Probably something to his last fight, not looking all the best, but his opponent is a guy that's gonna make mistakes that's gonna make Leavitt look good or better than he should, I guess. So in this fight, I got Jordan Leavitt via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Chris Barnett versus Martin Buday. And the hot seat one right here between Barnett versus Buday is, I think, with this one, I just feel like Buday just a more technical fighter, just a more polished fighter. He's the bigger, truer heavyweight, well, at least the better built for heavyweight. I feel like Barnett's on a smaller side, not really bringing that much strength for the height he's giving up in the side. Well, he got some weight on his belly region, but it's like he's not really bringing the strength to make it for that. You're so short in the heavyweight division. There's a lot of big guys in the heavyweight, a lot of vertically guys. Just not, well, I don't know. I'm trying to go with this one. Either way, Barnett, I'm just feeling like he could use a lot more strength, a lot more technique. Definitely needs to work on his grappling a whole lot more. He needs to work on a lot of things. I just don't feel like he's necessarily UFC caliber. Like, he's been in the game a while, but I feel like he has not necessarily been polishing his skill sets and his skills the way he needs to. And I was really seeing in his fight what he usually gonna bring. He's gonna bring some overhands that really ain't got no power behind him. He's gonna probably try to throw some kicks, decent kicks here and there. His leg is really trash, but like throw some kicks out there. Probably throw some body kicks that are pretty decent. And then an opportunity present itself, probably gonna step through on the kick and try to spin like for a heel kick up top or something. Try to go for the home run with those kicks after setting them up low. But Still slow, very telegraphed. I think Buday gonna see right to it. Also, I think Barnett's pretty weak in the clinch against the cage. Even a fat like John Vellante, who was already on vacation mode with his full beer gut, was able to hold him against cage with some decent success. He didn't really go for much, but he was able to hold him there without much issue. I feel like Buday should be able to put Barnett against cage, bully him against cage, land some knees, land some elbows, and then like create distance, just that little short distance and land shots. And Barnett don't really got no punches inside, just an overhand spinning kick type of guy. So all the shots are pretty much like mid-range or wide range. Nothing really going for him on the inside. And as far as the grappling, this opportunistic grappling, well, not even opportunistic grappling, opportunistic positions to land ground and pound. Like somebody sloppy heavyweight tries to go for a sloppy submission and gives a position, then he'll capitalize and look to put his belly on top of him and land ground and pound, or put his knee on top of him and land some ground and pound. But other than that, really ain't much grappling, ain't much jiu-jitsu, ain't much this, ain't much that. So I just really see when this fight, I see Buday just keep him at end his punches, making him whiff on those big overhands, then making him pay with counters, then confidently sticking the jab in his face, sticking the two in his face, and then pinning him against the cage, landing elbows, landing knees, and just wearing down Barnett. And then eventually he starts to, get him to crumple over a little bit from the knees to the body, and the straight shots landing on Barnett. And then I think he has him pinned against the cage, like with his back against the cage, and starts to unload on him in the second round and puts him out in that second round. So in this fight, I got Martin Buday via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Rafa Garcia versus Jesse Ronson. And how I see this one right here is Rafa Garcia got a pretty decent skill set. His cardio kind of concerns me. His how he deals with body shots kind of concerns me in this one. But I'm ultimately leaning Jesse Ronson. I got concerns, but I'm not picking him. I'm picking Ronson in this one. My biggest issue with this one, I don't know. I can't really say what area Garcia presents any issue for me against Ronson. I feel like maybe his youth. I feel like Ronson's a better striker. I feel like Garcia's a better wrestler, but not to no great degree that's going to cause him any great success. But I guess if he is to win, I think that wrestling might be his route, or a big part of his route, or at least enough of his route to lean it to him. But I really just see this one. I see Ronson easily outstriking. I see Ronson taking advantage of his body and going working to the body, slam some kicks, slam some hooks into the body, and eventually start to walk Garcia down and stay in his face. Where I'm probably start to mix his own takedowns in there and start to really like hammer on Garcia and break him down over the course of the fight. And I think he stops him in the second round. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm saying second round. So I think my pick was originally decision, but I'm going second round TKO for Ronson. So in this fight, I got Jesse Ronson via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Klose versus Brandon Jenkins. And how I see this one right here between Klose versus Jenkins is, I think Jenkins presents some decent threat. Klose is still having that back spinal injury from getting pushed by Jeremy Stevens, so that's a bit of a concern. But ultimately, I don't think Jenkins is ready for UFC. He got a decent bit of offense. He's creative on the feet. He'll let it go, but he's one of those fighters that's like he's a fighter's fighter, and he can have success in the UFC depending on how they match him. But going there with a guy like Klose, who's always like one of those fighters that's like a semi-cerebral fighter, like that. He's not going out there. He's not going to wow you with his striking. He's not going to wow you with athleticism. But he has good judge of range. He has a good feel for the fight, and he'll make those right adjustments. Also, he's not no slouch in the area. He got decent wrestling, got decent submission offense and defense, and like decent awareness of the cage and decent awareness of, like I said, where the points at, where the judging it, and how MMA scored. And he knows how to pull out fights and how to win. And I think that's what the case is going to be. I feel like Brandon Jenkins is going to be letting his hand loose. I feel like Klose is going to stifle that offense with takedowns. And, use his footwork and his distance control to not be in range for a lot of these combinations, or at least not be caught up in the middle of these combinations, or be able to sit right outside the combinations and time takedowns and throw Jenkins off. And I just really see Klose fight a smart fight, clean fight, coming back to UFC, making a successful return and get his hand raised in the decision. I don't think this is going to be necessarily all too competitive, but some good work, and I think Klose get his hand raised. So in this fight, I got Klose via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's bantamweight division, Lena Lansberg versus Pannie Kianzad. And how I see this one right here is, so supposedly Pannie Kianzad fought her like 10 years ago and destroyed her. And now Pannie Kianzad is in her prime, like Kianzad was like 20 something when she fought it in. Now she's like early 30s or middle 30s, and Lena Lansberg is 40. So yeah, destroyed her some years ago. Now she's roughly in her prime, and Lena Lansberg is 40. And I don't think she ever really had a true prime. Like she never was that good to be like even consider her prime. But I see this. Why I see Pannie Kianzad is better in every area. Younger, fresher, stronger, better condition, better what's called conditioning, strength conditioning, better jiu-jitsu, better grappling, better wrestling. But yeah, I think Kianzad is not much of a finisher in this one, but I definitely think she has a clear advantage in every single area this fight goes. I think only area Lansberg might have an advantage in is maybe in the clinch, you know, whatever her nickname was, like the elbows, but she hasn't really showed such a phenomenal clinch at any point in her UFC tenure, to be honest. So yeah, I just think she gets dominate every single area, but Kianzad is not much of a finisher, so I just see going to. So I see her striking her, I see her score takedowns, landing ground and pound, maybe attempt some submissions, but really not following through with nothing or being able to see it all the way through and get that finish on Lansberg, but still probably puts on a pretty solid performance, probably impressive performance to the extent, like, for the highlight reels, but missing the cherry on top with the finish that could make it an actual statement performance in the division. So in this fight, I got Kianzad via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in our prelim headliner, Devin Clark versus William Knight in the not light heavyweight, in the heavyweight division. So these guys formerly light heavyweights, but for whatever reason they're fighting heavyweight, but we're just going to roll with it. Devin Clark versus William Knight. How I see this one right here. I just feel like Devin Clark has more actual skills. William Knight's definitely got that power, definitely super strong and stuff, but his grappling is very muscle-based. His striking is very muscle-based. Like his background in fighting is Muscle Beach. But yeah, I feel like Devin Clark can cause issues with his wrestling. Can look to smother William Knight. And even Alonzo Minifield had success smothering William Knight against the cage at points. But the issue with Alonzo Minifield is that he had those positions, but he didn't go for much strikes. Like he kind of just held a position, didn't throw no punches, didn't throw no knees, and just thought he would win just based off holding his cage. And a lot of people do that. They win just by holding you his cage and maybe throwing 2 or 3 strikes. But I guess he drew 0, so that was the issue. But yeah, William Knight has a very good puncher's chance. But Devin Clark has not necessarily lost due to just that one big punch necessarily. He usually loses to better move around the fighters, being able to outlast his early wrestling, then knock him out, or maybe outlast him, or maybe submit him. But I don't really see those skills in one night. But again, a very good puncher's chance. But I'm gonna go Devin Clark here with probably average confidence to be at a blanket William Knight, just be the more technical fighter and the smarter fighter, and also a guy that has actually fought at the higher level of this division. I'm not saying he's fought the cream. He fought Blackowitz and stuff. So he fought some real good guys. Not gonna lie, he fought not Jerry Prohaska, but names eluding me. Alexander Racky. He fought some pretty decent guys here and there. But yeah, I just see him being able to blanket William Knight and beat him to a decision. So in this fight, I got Devin Clark via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, Morner Lazzez versus Loosa. So I see them right here. I think Loosa got at least a more well-rounded threat, or at least attempt those threats more. Morner Lazzez will just probably most likely look to be a striker. He's not looking out to go for takedowns or anything like that. He's not having submissions in mind or wrestling to a decision. That's not in his mind. I feel like Loosa can have that in his backseat a little bit, but I don't think to the degree to actually follow through with it and get a victory based off that. Or even to the case where he'll know that the striker might be close, and then he'll mix some takedowns to decent success to edge it for him. I feel like it's going to be limited success at most, and not enough to really edge anything based off that. Maybe at max a round, but not the 2 necessary to get the 2 of 3 or the 3 of 3 to get his hand raised. I feel mostly, especially when coming in on short notice, Morner Lazzez will use that height, use that reach, and just keep him at bay and just be that sniper out there. I just feel like Loosa is going to be coming up short on a lot of his shots, and Morner Lazzez is going to be been a sniper out there, being able to keep him at bay, probably stick some teeps in there, probably kick some inside leg kicks, stop him right in his place, or stop him right in motion, stick the jab on him, and beat him to a decision. But a competitive fight nonetheless. But Morner Lazzez ultimately using his attributes to his advantage, and using the fact that he is coming in off of camp, and Loosa is coming in on short notice. Be fresher, be sharper, and also, like I say, in those later rounds, Loosa ain't going to have that extra gas to really pull through on those rounds. So I feel like that's going to be a crucial round in a fight that's relatively close on paper. And he's not going to have the extra boost to, be able to pull him all the way through, which is going to lean the fight more so in favor to Lazzez. Like I said, in those crunch time in that round, Lazzez is going to have more, and Loosa is going to have less. So in this fight, I got Morner Lazzez via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Pat Sabatini versus TJ Laramie. And how I see this one right here. So it's just like grappler versus grappler. Laramie ain't got no hands. He got Rugrats hands, man, built like a toddler. You got Pat Sabatini. They both got baby arms, but Laramie's on a different level. He's a different breed of baby arms between those two. But Either way, I seen this one. Laramie ain't really got no knockout threat, ain't no submission threat. I see Sabatini just going out there and schooling him in every single grappling aspect. I see him out wrestling him without much issue, thwart any little submissions that Laramie has. Ain't worried about what Laramie has on the feet and just out there, out taking him down, out positioning him, out wrestling him. And I see a pretty dominant performance from Sabatini from start to finish. I don't think he gets to the definitive stoppage in this one. Probably, hurts him a little bit. Probably goes some decent attempts, but I don't think he follows through and gets a submission victory or get the stoppage on him. But I do think he dominates him from the start to the finish of this fight, scoring the takedowns, landing the ground and pound, and being the one on offense where Laramie just going to be heavily on the defense this whole fight without much output coming back. So in this fight, I got Pat Sabatini via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the women's bantamweight division, Mayra Bueno Silva versus Yanan Wu. And how I see this fight between Bueno Silva versus Yanan Wu is, I think Wu is the more technical striker, but I feel like Bueno Silva has more threats. I don't feel like Wu is that much of a technical striker. But yeah, Wu ain't that much of a technical striker. I feel like Bueno Silva's gonna be with her, not as polished, not as pretty striker. It's gonna be women's MMA. Like, one striker might be a little bit more tactical here and there, but Bueno Silva is going to cover that gap in this volume and output and aggression. Probably looking to throw some sloppy mosh pit punches, then get in the clinch and probably throw some elbows and knees and bust Wu up. Then look to force her to the ground and grapple with her. Not the prettiest fight, but ultimately I feel like Bueno Silva, beats her by decision. Like I said, crowding her space, throwing up volume, outworking her, out grappling her, and beating her to a decision. I feel like Wu's probably going to be more effective with her strikes, but it's not gonna matter as much because, like I said, Bueno Silva's gonna be more aggressive, and even though it's like not as pretty, not as polished, it's going to be effective. Like, doing some like cutting elbows in the clinch, some knees, and volume. Probably still hurt Wu. It ain't gonna be pretty, but still probably gonna hurt Wu at times with her sloppy striking, and then be able to score takedowns to make it easier to score, like getting takedowns, working for positions, maybe trying to attempt some submissions or go for, commit to trying to take some positions or take some risks on the ground to establish even the more dominant positions. But still a very competitive fight. But Silva, like I said, with her aggression, her work rate, her pressure, and the grappling is going to edge the fight towards her. So in this fight, I got Mayra Bueno Silva via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, Andre Fialho versus Miguel Baeza. And how I see the fight right here between Fialho versus Baeza is, it's a smaller case. I understand the argument people having for Fialho, but I feel like this issue still gonna be his issues. The man has issues. He got pretty decent speed with his hands, but his slow feet, and a lot of times he's so much waiting on shots, and it's not like he's waiting and avoiding these shots and slipping these shots. He's waiting and getting tagged up by these shots. So a lot, especially against higher level guys. Maybe the lower level guys, he can walk through some of the shots. Maybe he can roll with some of it. Matter of fact, he don't really be rolling with shots, but he could eat some of those shots and then look to land those big bombs, or maybe just strike first, so he ain't even got to worry about landing what's coming back at him. But seemingly when he goes up in competition, even against a shot James Vick, it's a lot of waiting, a lot of taking unnecessary shots just for him to get to his moment that he can land his own shots. And I know Miguel Baeza is coming here a little bit shot worn off that last fight where he got knocked out or TKO'd. But I still think Miguel Baeza still should be able to stay by his fundamentals, stay on his toes, pepper with a jab, to stay moving. If Fialho just chasing him, not really cutting the cage off well, which is a bad tendency of Fialho, and walking it, like not even cutting the cage off, more so he allowed his opponents to walk him into shots, and he just following them. I feel like Miguel Baeza can work behind that jab, use that reach, and just land clean shots on him at bay and pile up points, pile up shots, and pile up significant strikes on Fialho. And Fialho just, again, trailing behind, trying to catch up, but his feet not being fast enough to close that gap, and him not doing the proper footwork and the proper movement to actually cut his opponent off, and just coming off on losing again. Still be a competitive fight. I ain't say he's going to be out there be a punching bag. He's going to be out there being competitive, but again, he's not going to do the right thing. He's going to do he's not going to follow through as he needs to get his hand raised, or maybe to get a knockout, or to get a decision. Like, it'll be a case of, like, again, not cutting the cage off effectively, feet not as fast as you would want them to be, and not allow himself to get into the position that he needs to be, that he can thrive in, and really waiting for these moments and taking damage, trying to get to these opportunities. And when he probably does get to him, Miguel Baeza probably going to mix in takedowns at least to slow him down, or maybe look for a clinch to slow him down and just go back distance. Still competitive fight for sure, but I feel like it'd be relatively clear that Baeza will win on most scorecard. Maybe one maybe even a split decision for Baeza in this one. But again, I just feel like Fialho's tendency to, kind of wait for his moments and not really doing the best job to set them up or really put himself in position with his footwork to get to his beneficial area or his best suited area. That's not a good tendency for long-term success at really any level, unless the people just aren't on your level. But when you're at your level or above your level, that's just a bad recipe. So in this fight, I got Miguel Baeza via decision. Now to our co-main event, we have in the middleweight division, Borralho versus Omargadzhiev. And obviously one here between Borralho versus Garcia is or Omargadzhiev is, I think Garcia is definitely, I'm not saying all these different names, it's Omargadzhiev, but Omargadzhiev solid guy, but I don't feel like he's all that fleshed out on the feet, big overhands, maybe some spinning kicks in there, but not no real flush sequence, no real solid technical striking. It's just like sporadic almost, you could say. But really, it's not really sporadic. All his stuff is really just to get you off balance, to get you looking, then look to blast and push you on the ground. But Borralho has solid takedown offense, solid grappling, so he's not a guy that's necessarily afraid to go to the ground with Garcia or Omargadzhiev. So I feel like he gets threatened with submissions. I feel like he gets neutralized submissions. And I feel like Borralho is the more fleshed out striker and really the more fleshed out overall MMA guy. Omargadzhiev, I'm looking for. Matter of fact, really, I feel like at this level, he's going to be a decision fighter. I feel like Borralho could get victory, but it's going to be a fight between two evenly matched guys. But I feel like Borralho's going to show that he's the more fleshed out fighter, be it a stuff to takedowns, attempt submissions, probably even get some takedowns of his own in there. Off his, once he's thrust to submissions, then be able to take a position, score some of his own takedowns, maybe one or two in there. But ultimately, I feel it's mostly going to be stuffing the takedowns, and then I'll strike him on the feet. Pretty close fight with Omargadzhiev trying to blanket, trying to get control. But Borralho ultimately been in one dealing the more effective damage and being more effective in the fight, where Omargadzhiev is really trying to point fight at, pretty much before the fight gets in, like the tell of this fight is gonna be almost Omargadzhiev looking to a decision fight or trying to blanket, trying to wrestle, not really being able to get it to the ground like he wants it to, or sustaining on the ground like he wants to. And then most of the shots on the feet, just not really landing, not falling through, and then going for poor shots and trying to work shots that aren't landing. Then Borralho's landing the flusher shots at range, mid-range, in the clinch. And the judge is going to see that, and he's going to get his hand raised in a relatively close fight. So in this fight, I got Borralho via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the welterweight division, Vicente Luque versus Belal Muhammad 2. And how fight right here between Luque versus Muhammad 2 is Luque is still a very dangerous striker, but I feel like Belal Muhammad has made a bigger leaps in his career. I feel like his defense has got a lot better. I mean, he still got touched a couple times here and there, but you see he reacts better to it. I feel like his wrestling has got a lot better. Game plan has got a lot better. His setup, his footwork have got a lot better. And he's learning with every single out, and I feel like he has made improvement. Luque's striking defense is still very questionable. He allowed guys like Brian Bahrain to touch him up a lot more than he should. Nico Price. So I feel like Belal Muhammad shouldn't have too much issues touching him up. And Luque has given him takedowns to Mike Perry and some other low-level guys. So I feel like Belal Muhammad can score takedowns on Luque. Luque is definitely the more dangerous finishing threat here. I think Belal Muhammad is going to win decision, and I am picking him to win a decision. But it's still a very competitive fight. But I feel like Belal Muhammad will be able to mix in takedowns. And then when he gets those takedowns or gets these positions, or even if he doesn't get them, he's not going to quit. He's a cardio pushing fighter. He's going to keep going back to the well, keep going back to the takedown, and be able to work to break Luque down. And Luque is no quitter, but I feel like eventually Muhammad, once he starts settling on those takedowns, he will start to get them more and more frequently and be able to get some control time. But Luque doing well off his back, throwing up submission attempts, throwing up chokes, but Muhammad stands calm, staying composed, and getting out of submissions. Muhammad don't have no issue defending submissions, so he's stay calm and composed. I think the biggest issue Muhammad will face this one is if, like I said, it's a fight. You get hit, all it takes is one shot, and you likely be out. And there's no game planning for that. You can train all you want. Somebody hits you clean on the button, your lights go out. But I feel like Muhammad's gonna do a good job to not allow that to happen so frequently, and keep Luque busy defending takedowns, and keep being a hard target for Luque to find, to land consistent combinations and learn well from the first fight, mix those takedowns in, follow the route that he has been doing, along this recent streak he's been having. Constant pressure, and then mixing in the level changes and the takedowns, and really making Luque work in all facets of the game, and really try to force Luque on the back foot. But yeah, very competitive fight, but ultimately I feel like Muhammad's gonna be to get these takedowns, and when he has those positions, he's not gonna be like he has to try to, be overzealous and try to jump position or try to go for a finish. First you get one takedown and you already trying to rush positions. and then you end up getting choked out or given up positions, and then when the position get reversed, you end up in a choke. And also, he doesn't have a Darce weakness like a Luque does. I mean, not like Luque, but Kianzad does. So Muhammad, I feel like, is very submission defense savvy, and is overall pretty savvy. I'm not saying he's the world's greatest grappler, definitely not, but I feel like he has the desired tools. He can push the pace, he has the wrestling, and he's a smart fighter. He's a not necessarily finished, pretty boring, but he knows how to win. He knows what needs to be done to win. So I think he mixes those takedowns, gets some position in there, keeps the striking relatively close. But again, constantly being the one working and forcing Luque to react to what he's doing, and not allowing Luque to just, be in a striking matchup, but make Luque have to fight a multifaceted fight, in a fight where he's the one on defense, defending the takedowns, defending the clinch, and trying to get back to range to land his shots, to let his hands go. But Muhammad being a good blanket out there and beat him to a pretty close decision. Competitive for sure, but Muhammad's wrestling and decision making out there is going to be the difference maker in this fight. So in this fight, I got Belal Muhammad via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Luque versus Muhammad 2. And as always, thanks for watching.